Shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shah, bro, Yahweh with the servants. Back at it again, right, with another video through the Spirit, right? And today we get into Psalms chapter 1 breakdown, right? So we're going to go in Psalms chapter 1 and we're going to break that thing down, right? Early morning wisdom. And the reason why I said early morning wisdom, because there's a lot of people that's in their beds right now, right? So this early morning wisdom, and we just going to get into it early in the morning, right? We're going to get to this thing early in the morning, right? So let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 1, and let's get into it, right? Make sure that my screen is sharing. Bear with me. Okay, cool. There we go. Right, boom. It says, we'll start here. It says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Right? So it says, blessed in the way that blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, that standeth in the way of sinners. Right? Because you got a lot of men, right? Not say a lot of men, but you got some men, some unwise men that spend their time with the ungodly, right? And what ends up happening when you're spending time with the ungodly? Some of those spirits that's on the ungodly people, man, they start to creep and hop up on you, right? So let's get a precept in the book of Psalms. Like these are words. Let's go to Psalms chapter 119 and verse 63. Right. Let's hear what wisdom that David bestowed upon us. Right. It's the book of Psalms chapter 119 and verse 63. I am a companion of them that fear thee, right? And of them that keep thy precepts. So your companions or the people that you sit and dwell with, right, are people that keep the precepts. Because when you're around people that keep the precepts, that keep the law, such commandments, and they're gonna hold you to a standard, right? They're gonna let you know that you're going off, right? And they're gonna correct you, right? Or they might exhort you, right? Or one thing, you got brothers that's about to be on fire, right? And you kind of your fire kind of flickering right now, your flame kind of flickering. But being amongst men that's sincere and diligent, right? It turn your flame up, right? But when you're around the ungodly, it ain't gonna do nothing but douse your flame, right? They might give you bad advice, so you might be catching hell, and we be catching hell in this truth, right? You going through it, right? But the ungodly, what advice they gonna give you? Man, I know, man. I know it's tough right now, man. We might gonna hit this J, or let's go to the club, or whatever. Instead of saying, hey, man, I know you catching hell right now, but brother, we might need to pull a fast, and we might need to pray, right? Because that's what a godly man is gonna tell you, right? But the ungodly, that's bad business. That's bad business. Let me get another precept, all right. Bear with me. Another precept. Hold on. Oh, screen tripping. Bear with me. Get this screen tripping right now. I don't know why it's doing it. Let me see. Ain't gonna worry about it. I'm gonna just go to another tab. I'm gonna get to another tab. All right. Okay. Now I should be showing now. Okay. All right, boom. So back at it, right? So, anyways, going to another priest. It said, when you under the street, right? It says, observe the time, right? And the under street would be those that's not keeping the commandments, right? Let's go to that. This is the book of Sirach, right? Chapter 27 and verse 12. It says, if thou be among the undiscreet, observe the time, but be continually among men of understanding, right? So when you're among men, right, it's indiscreet, right? Let's get into the word indiscreet. Let's get into the word indiscreet. Indiscreet. Right? Meaning. Let's check that out. Indiscreet meaning. Right? Proceeding to have from great readiness to reveal things that shit. Right? It says, These are similar words. It says having, it says having, showing, or proceeding from too great of readiness to reveal things that should remain secret or private. So these are the all adjectives, right? For it says imprudent, right? Impolitic, unwise, and cautious, right? So you don't want, it says irresponsible. So you don't want to be around the unwise, right? You don't want to be around the unwise because the unwise, right, their spirit's gonna hop on you. Now you're gonna start making unwise decisions, right? Irresponsible, ill-judged, right? Ill-advised, right? And it says judge righteous judgment, right? How can you judge righteous judgment when you're surrounding yourself with the ill judge, right? Right? You were surrounding yourself, right, with people that's irresponsible. How you supposed to be accountable? But you're around people that's irresponsible, right? And thus all those spirits and demons that's on them go end up hopping on you, right? So the words of wisdom is telling you, right? When you're among the indiscreet, the people that's unwise, that's irresponsible, that's ill-advised, ill-judged, it says observe the time. You need to be kind of looking at your watch. Like, all right, it's time for me to go. I've been here a little bit too long. Time for me to slide. Now, don't sit there and wait a moment long. Now, I'm just chill around. Now, you got to slide. You got to get up out of there. Right? It says, but be continually among men of understanding. Right? So you want to be continually among men of understanding. Right? Let's see some more on that too. I'm gonna get another precept too. I'm gonna get another precept, and then we're gonna move on in the book of Psalms. Right? Bear with me. Let me go back here. All right. Let's see what we got. All right, the book of Sirach, chapter 37, verse 12. It says, but be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord. Right? So this another one telling you, hey man, you want to be continually among those that keep the commandments, man. Right? Whose mind is according to thy mind, right? And will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. Right? And what does it mean, shall sorrow with thee when thou miscarry? Right? When you going through it, right? When you catching hell, right? When you in a moment of affliction, a turmoil. Because what happens when a woman miscarries? Right? She's sad, she's mourning, she's sorrowful, she's going through it, right? Her husband's going through it. The whole family's catching hell, right? So when you catching hell, you going through afflictions, turmoil, and sorrow, right? Only a godly man can help you in that situation, right? The unwise or the ungodly, hey, how can they help you, right? Someone that's indiscreet, he's ill-advised. He ain't gonna get you. He ain't give you he ain't gonna give you no wisdom. He's not gonna help you in that moment, right? And that's when you go to the book of Ecclesiastes 4:9. This the kind of man that it's talking about, right? Let me go to it. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9. All right. It says, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. For they have a good reward for their labor. So it's not talking about just two unequally yoked people. No, it's talking about two men, right? Right? Two brothers, sisters, whatever. That's righteous people. People that fear the Lord. It says because they have good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. So it might be a moment where your partner, he on fire, right? And you kind of you ain't there right now, right? He got that ability to lift you up, right? But little Ray, little Pookie, they ain't got that ability, right? Because little Ray, Pookie, they mind bad, right? All they thinking about is blunts, the streets, living a street life, being a YN, hanging out with Keisha and Mookie. You know what I'm saying? That's all they worry about, right? The next rap song, the next J's popping out, right? Ready to buy them on the Sabbath, right? That's what they thinking about, right? But a righteous man, right? And he's gonna be there to lift you up, right? But woe to him that is alone, right? When he follow, for he have not another to help him up, right? So it says again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone, right? And that's talking about sometimes there are the moments in this truth, right, where you might get a little cold. Because we're supposed to be on fire, right? But we have moments where that flame get a little doused, right? It go down just a little bit. But you got that brother that's on fire, that's being diligent, and hey brother, man, you can pray for me. Hey brother, throw up a mighty prayer for you, put a fast, whatever, right? And then when your spirit's back up, right? Or he might give you some mighty exhortation, and then boom, your flame back lit, right? You back warm, you back on fire, right? But Lil Pookie, Lil Ray ain't gonna get you on fire, right? Hanging out, kicking, playing 2K, that's not gonna get you on fire, right? Worry about the next parlay. It's not gonna get you on fire, right? So again, right back in Psalms chapter 1, right? Verse 1 says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of sinners, right? Nor sit in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord. In the law, in his law doth he meditate day and night." So your delight gotta be in the law, statutes, commandments, right? You gotta delight in doing it, right? That means you gotta love. Let's get that definition of the word delight. Let's just get it. Delight. Let's go get it. Let's get it. It says right here, it says delight. Please someone greatly, take great pleasure in, right? So you gotta take great pleasure in keeping the law, statutes, commandments. Understand that. You gotta take great pleasure. Great pleasure. I'm gonna show you something, right? When you read the book of Deuteronomy, right? Let's go to that. I don't know why they don't be doing that. All right, go to Deuteronomy 28. And this right here, it says 45. It says, let me read up which one I'm trying to look for. Yeah, right here. 47. 28:47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart. So keeping the law, statutes, commandments, it should not be a grievous thing to you. Right? That's and that goes to the classic 1 John 5:3. Right? For this love God that would keep his commandments, right? For his commandments are not grievous. So the commandment, paraphrasing, right? So the commandments, keeping the commandments shouldn't be a grievous thing to you, like, oh, right? You might have one where she's like, dang, man, here I go, gotta put on the dress again. All right, here we go wearing these fringes again. Why we gotta have these ZZs on, right? Or you got brother, dang, man, here come the Saturday again. Now I can't go to work. Now I gotta lose money on my bread, right? Or dang, man, you know what I'm saying? Why we can't eat pork? Man, I'm gonna miss out on the crab boil this year. Cause we gotta keep these commandments, right? It cannot be a grievous thing to you. And you gotta delight. You gotta take great pleasure in keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Let me get a precept. And because David said he would have I want to say he said he would have fainted, right? Roughly paraphrasing. Let me see. Let me check it out. Let me see. Roughly paraphrasing. Let me see. Going down here. Bear with me. Let me see. I'm gonna go to this right here. Let me go to this. Psalms chapter 147. 119. It's right here. It says, hold on, let me just bear with me. I want to get this precept though. Cause we gotta move like this. Cause it says David, he moved with wisdom. You want to move with wisdom in this thing, right? Dang. Well, I'm gonna get another precept because that's the one I'm particularly looking for. I can't get to it right now. So boom. It says, This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 47. It says, I will delight myself in thy commandments, which I have loved. Right? So David, like, man, he wanted to delight himself in the commandments which he had loved. Right? So he loved keeping he loved keeping the commandments, right? Again, that's going into that spirit of having great pleasure in keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Right? It says, and this, I'm gonna jump down to verse 72. This how you gotta look at the law, statutes, commandments. You gotta look at the law, statutes, commandments. That it's the greatest thing that has ever happened to you. It's the greatest thing that has ever been revealed to you, right? That's how you gotta look at it. You can't look at it as something that's like, it ain't not really that important. Like you gotta look at it more precious than you think about money. You ever just think about, you got a suitcase full of $1 million. Imagine what your eyes, your heart, your mind will feel. You looking at, damn, this all mine, belong to me, $1 million, right? And that's the kind of mindset you gotta think about when it comes to law, statutes, commandments. Right? You got like, dang, this belong to me, this me, right? Because the Lord gave us the commandments, right? He gave us so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He gave commandments to us to keep, right? So we should treasure these things, right? So I'm gonna read this. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 72. It says, the law of thy mouth is better unto me than thousands of gold and silver. So David said, man, the law, man, that's better than thousands of gold and silver, right? Imagine that. That's how you gotta feel about law, statutes, and commandments. Like, man, bro, it ain't nothing better than keeping these. Ain't nothing better keeping these commandments, right? Ain't nothing, bro. You gotta love and cherish it, right? This the precept that I was looking for earlier too. This Psalms chapter 119 and 92. It says, unless thy law had been my delights, right? I should then have perished in mine affliction, right? And you got some people, you could be at the very moment of being destroyed, right? You could be on the brink of destruction, but because you take delight in the law, right? And Lord have mercy on you, right? Lord be merciful unto you. It said, David said, had I had the light, had that been my great pleasure to keep your commandments, to fear you, to be obedient. He says, I should have then perished in mine affliction. And we know the different afflictions that David went through, right? He had Saul on his neck, right? He had to fight these many wars, right? But because he had great pleasure in the law, statutes, commandments, the Lord was merciful to him and the Lord preserved him, right? And the Lord can do the same thing for you, right? But you got to take great pleasure, right, in keeping the law, statutes, commandments, right? That's what you got to do. I had thought of something else. Dang, it's a movie. Dang, somebody, I can't think of the movie, but I'll come back to that thought. But I'm gonna get another precept though. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 7 and 2, right? It says this. It says, keep my commandments and live, right? And this is another thing, right? By us keeping the law, statutes, commandments, that's how we live. Now, understand what I'm saying. I'm not talking about, it's a twofold. You actually live because the Lord can destroy you, but also living hereafter, right? When Babylon is said and done, when America is destroyed, right? When it's burnt to the ground, it's life after that, right? And you want to live there. They're talking about the kingdom, right? In order to live there or have that place or obtain that place where there's everlasting life is given, you gotta keep these commandments. You gotta keep these commandments. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You gotta keep these commandments, right? But let's keep going. It says, and my law as the apple in thy eye, right? Because see, the Lord, he don't want nobody like, oh, because I'm keeping the commandments because that's what it say do. I gotta do it, right? This is your attitude about keeping the commandments. If this is your attitude about keeping the commandments, you ain't gonna make it, right? You're just not gonna make it. God, I gotta do it. Here we go again, keeping these commandments. Look what it said in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 47. Right? It says, because you didn't paraphrase it, you didn't love the Lord with joyfulness and gladness of heart. So you got to be glad about it. Be glad that you can put on your fringes. Be glad it's a Sabbath day that you got to keep it holy. Be glad that you can't fornicate, commit adultery, be a backbiter, and all these different things. Right? Be glad. Right? Love it. Enjoy it. Right? Enjoy it. Let me get another precept. Then we're gonna move on. Right? I'm get another precept. Then I'll move on. Here's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, right? Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people, right? Well, how can we become a great nation again, right? You got to ask yourself, how can look at what our state, our mindset is now in Babylon, aka America, right? The so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans. Can we honestly say that we're a great nation right now? Look at us. We kill each other in the streets. We sell each other drugs, right? We glorify rapping about taking one another's life, right? Popping pills, smoking dope, right? Doing all kind of manner of folly and wickedness, right? So in order for us to return to that level of being a great nation, gotta keep the commandments. Very simple. Keeping the commandments, it's our wisdom, it's our understanding. That's how we're seen as a great nation, right? And the elect, right? Because after the Lord purges out the 2/3 of the Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, that's when that's gonna be the point where we're gonna be seen as a great nation again. Because the elect, the ones that remain of the Israelites, they gonna apply this wisdom and understanding to their minds. They gonna have it in their hearts and mindsets. They gonna have it in their mind, in their hearts, right? So thus we're gonna return to being a great nation, right? But it's a process to it all, right? Because the elect, they're gonna be doing it now. It's not gonna be like at one point in time, all right. So man, the elect they just gonna wake up and like, all right, nah, no, these are the elect, the 1/3. They gonna be applying the law, statutes, commandments in their life. These are gonna be the one that's taking delight in law, statutes, commandments, right? That's the elect. That's the elect, right? Those people, right? So let's go back to Psalm chapter 1, right? It says, oh yeah, and it says we had to get on that. We had to get on that, right? It says, in his law doth he meditate day and night. So we gotta be meditating on law, statutes, and commandments, man. Right? Let's go to this word meditate. Get a definition on that real fast. Right? It says, I'm gonna go to the word, the similar words. It says, well, first I'll read this definition. It says, think deeply or focus one's mind for a period of time in silence or with an aid of not chanting and all that, but let me just read that part. You gotta deeply focus on the law, statutes, and commandments. It says ponder, reflect, contemplate. Right? Whenever you ever just sit there and contemplate on the law, statutes, commandments, pondered on the law, statutes, commandments, kind of sit there reflecting. Hey man, we got to make sure we love our brothers ourselves, right? We can't have usury upon our neighbor. We gotta make sure we have respect of person. We know that we don't deal with respect of persons. We gotta have no unrighteousness and judgment. You know what I'm saying? Various other laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? You gotta sit there and ponder on it, right? Especially in the land of Babylon, right? especially because it's so many distractions, so many demons, folly, and all kind of vanity here. You need something to keep you level-headed, focused. And that's when you ponder. That's when you reflect. That's when you contemplate on the law, statutes, commandments. It says think deeply or carefully about something. You gotta sit down. I mean, and I know, we have a lot of things going on in our lives. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things going on in our lives. You might have your job, you got kids, you got this, you got that. But it won't hurt just to take 30 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, whatever, and take that time and say, now this time is I'm gonna cut it, I'm gonna separate this time, I'm gonna keep this time to myself, and I'm gonna sit here, I'm just gonna ponder on law, statutes, commandments. Just gonna sit here and reflect on law, statutes, commandments. Just think about it. Deeply, just really think about law, statutes, commandments. Right? And that's something I need to work. I'm gonna try to do that myself. I need to work on that. Right? Talking to myself. Right? We gotta sit here and ponder, reflect, take some time, right? Having that just balance, take that time to sit there like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Get in that mode, man. Hone in, right? Because we know we got to understand, right? This is our treasure. And then the times to come, right? Let's get this in Isaiah 33:6, right? Isaiah 33:6. It said, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Well, how can you acquire wisdom unless you sit there and ponder and meditate on it? And of course, we know that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So you got to be fearing the Lord, right? And you got to be applying these things to your life, right? This is Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure, right? So it says in the time, especially when all hell breaks, you got all this, man, bro. It's been so many things going on, showing us that we live in last days, right? I just seen a post not too long ago. It said it was over 80 airplane crashes in this beginning of this year alone. 80 plane crashes. You just had one plane, just a Delta plane, damn fly down and was upside down, right? In Canada. Right? You had snowstorms, you had the West Coast burnt up with fire, right? And then you had the East Coast, ice cold, snow in dang Georgia, snow in Florida, right? I'm talking about thick, deep snow, right? All kind of things going on, right? Different pestilence going on, different foods on recall because it's causing sickness among people, right? It's so much going on. And it's only going to get worse, right? You got parents unaliving their kids, their children, right? A woman was just found, Eve, I want to say, she left her kids unattended for 5 years. 5 years. And all she did was drop them food on the doorstep, right? And the house was filthy. Right? Disgusting. Power. It was madness. And this is going on these days. And things are only going to get more and more wicked and dangerous. Right? So you're going to need a stable mind those times. You're going to have your head together. You don't want to lose your mind those times. Because once you lose your mind, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You're going to fold because your mind not stable. Right? So, again, you know what I'm saying? We need to be reflecting, reflecting, pondering, contemplating, deeply focusing on the law, statutes, commandments. Carefully thinking on law, statutes, and commandments. Right? So let's go back to the book of Psalms. Chapter 1, right? And let's go to verse 3. It says, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, right? That bringeth forth his fruit in his season, right? So you want to be like that tree that's, man, it's a couple of precepts that's in my mind, but I'm gonna go to Sirach chapter 1, verse 5 first, right? So you want to be like a tree that's planted by a river. What happens when a tree is planted by a river? Right? When a tree is planted by a river, it gets a lot of nutrients and water, right? Right? So when you think about it, right? When you think about it, there's a lot of minerals and things in water, especially moving water. Moving water tends to have a lot of minerals in it, right? So imagine a tree that's sitting and its roots running deep and it's getting nourished, right, by a river, right? So that tree is not gonna have a time where it's not being nourished, where it's not getting the things that it needs to survive, to sustain, to grow fruit, right? When you don't, when a tree is not watered, right, it looks crazy. It looks crazy, right? The leaves kind of fall. Anybody that garden and things like that, you know what I'm talking about, right? When you don't give that tree enough water, the leaves tend to fall, right? It is they shrivel up. It just look crazy, right? It looks like it's about to die, right? But when you nourish that tree, you give it water, right? The branches kind of stand up like this, the leaves stand up, right? Right, they bring forth that good fruit, right? But without that water, without that nourishment, right, that tree is going to be destroyed. And that tree is going to wither away, right? So you want to make sure that you like that you're planted, right? You want that you're deeply rooted in this thing, right? And I'm gonna get something in the book of Mark too, right? But I'm gonna read this right quick. This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 5. Ecclesiasticus 1 and 5. The word of God most high is the fountain of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting commandments. And her ways are everlasting commandments. Right? So we want to be nourished with wisdom, right? That's what our river should be full with. Wisdom, right? And her ways are everlasting commandments, right? So we need that wisdom, right, to nourish us, that wisdom to help us grow in this thing, right? Let's go to Mark chapter 4. Right, let's go to Mark chapter 4. And we're going to go into this parable. Because you don't, it's different kind of tree, because a tree got a process, right? And that's us in this truth, right? It starts off with that seed getting planted, right? Every one of us that's in the truth, we start off with a seed getting planted, right? And then as we continue to endure, as we continue to keep going in the truth, then we begin to grow and blossom as a beautiful tree, right? And then bring forth fruit, right? But until that time, right, you got to stay rooted, right? So let's go into this. All right, let's go to the book of Mark chapter 4, and we're going to go to, we're going to go to verse, we're going to start at verse 4. This is hearken. Behold, there went out a sower to sow. And it came to pass, as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came up and devoured it, right? Devoured it up, right? And that's just like sometimes, for instance, when you go on the highways and byways, right? You sitting there, you're sowing your seed, you're putting all your seeds down, right? You got some people that just come by, their friends just come up and snatch them up, right? Man, come on, man, what you doing? Or they might be with a woman, right? Come on, and the dude, he kind of like she got her by his hand, he kind of walking behind like this, right? You got that kind, right? Or you got some, right? They be the dude come up to their woman, what you doing over here, man? Man, come on, man, right? And so they just like the birds just came and picked them on up, and they just gone. They gone. See, just gone. Said some fell on stony ground where it had not much earth, and immediately it sprang up, right? Because it had no depth of the earth, right? So you have some people that wasn't really they weren't really in this thing like that, right? They kind of put on their fringes a couple times, maybe a couple weeks, right? But at some time, right, things got kind of hard, right? And they just sprang right on them. They ain't had no doubt. They weren't deep. They weren't really rooted in this thing, right? It says, but when the sun was up, right, it was scorched because it had no root and withered away. And some fell among thorns, right? And the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit, right? So I'm gonna jump down, right? Because it also gives a explanation, right? And I kind of jumped the gun with it, but we're gonna go to the explanation too. So we're gonna jump down to verse 15, right? It says, and these by the wayside where the word is sown, but when they have heard, Satan comes immediately and take away the word that was sown in their hearts, right? And I've seen this thing personally happen. I've seen it personally happen plenty of times. You be talking to somebody, man, and out of nowhere, somebody with a demon on them just come, right, and distract them and take away from the word. I've literally seen this. They might get a phone call, and I'm getting a phone call, and they never come back, right? Or they say, oh, somebody call me. I'm right here. I'm right here. Here I come. It literally happens, right? And that's literally got to understand that's Satan. It went for them. They gone, right? And these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness, right? And have no root in themselves. So endure but for a time, right? And that's what I was saying earlier, right? You got some people, they in this truth, right, for a little minute. I'm sorry, they done got them some fringes, right? They done stopped eating pork. You know what I'm saying? They keeping the Sabbath day. They might come to a feast day here and there, but they weren't really rooted in this truth. They didn't really believe like that, right? It sounded good for a moment. They endured for a little time, right? It says, after when affliction or persecution arises for the word's sake, immediately they were offended. They are offended, right? So they might be start catching hell. Dang, I ain't know this truth really was like this. Probably lost a job, or their family members done turned their back on them. You know what I'm saying? They mama, they ain't got that relationship like they was with their mama. You know what I'm saying? They the favorite cousin that they used to hang out with, start hanging out with them. Like, dang, I don't know if I can do this, or whatever might come their way, right? Or actual persecution, right? Hearing that, hey, if they don't denounce the name of the Lord, right? They gonna be thrown in jail. They gonna be thrown in prison. They're like, hey, no, I can't do this. Because you might have some people right now, they in this truth right now. They keeping laws, statutes, commandments, they doing it. They keeping the feast days, they doing it. They're doing for a time. But then when that persecution comes, when they threaten to throw you in prison, when they threaten you with a guillotine, when they kicking you out your house and all kind of stuff going on, then they're like, oh hell no, I can't do this. Kind of take the shirt off, you take the shirt off with the fringes and you toss it away. Because you can't do it. Right? You got some people that, hey, it's like that. You got some that's momentarily in the truth, then they out. They gone. They back in the world. They back to smoking blunts. They back with being with Lil Pookie and Ray Ray. They back to fornicating. They back to popping pills. They back to just being a dang nigga. Right? Then you got some also, when that true persecution come, and they gonna fold like a napkin. They gonna fold like a wet napkin. Right? Let's keep going. And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, in the cares of this world, in the deceitfulness of riches, in the lust of other things enter in, choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. Right? Because you got some people, right? They are sown amongst distractions because they didn't truly separate themselves. They didn't truly get in a mindset of being holy. Because when you're holy, that's what the word holy means, be separate. You're going to separate yourself from the cares of the world, right? Let me get a precept. Right? It says in the book of Romans chapter 12, verse 2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Right? So you got some people, man, they didn't really transform, right? They still conform to this world, right? They still let me get another precept. They still got these distractions. They still got little Pookie hanging out around their house. They in the truth now, but they still got little Pookie in their house, right? Coming over every time, talking about, dog, man, I just ran it up, man. Come on, man, let's run up, man. Come on, man. Little Pookie kind of flashing his bands. He like, man, come on, bro, let's get this money, man. Stop playing, man. Right? I done hit by 5 licks, bro. I'm up right now. I'm literally up right now. What's up, man? You might be struggling with your bill. Dang, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because you got distracted. So now you see little Pookie getting it. You see Pookie done got his bands up. Now you're like, man, I might as well go on back get this money too. And then boom. Now you're going back into the world. Now you're going back to trapping. Now you're going back to scamming. You know what I'm saying? Doing whatever. Right? Being a dang demon. Right? Oh yeah, that's all I was getting. Getting James 4:4. Right? The book of James chapter 4, verse 4. It says, ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore be a friend of the world is the enemy of Yahweh. So if you sit here trying to be you in this truth, but you still trying to hold on to the world, and you're an enemy of the Lord. If you try to be a friend of this world, you is an enemy of the Lord. Straight like that, man. Straight like that. So when you come in this truth, right? When you realize that you're Israelite, when you realize that you got to keep laws that you got, when you realize that you got to repent, change, and be converted, you cannot find yourself being distracted with the cares of this world, right? The deceitful riches, right? The lust of other things, right? Because if you do, it's just like thorns, and they ain't gonna do nothing but choke you out, right? When you're planting seeds, when you have a garden, right? You're supposed to remove the weeds from around the plants, right? You're supposed to pick up the weeds about the orchard garden. At least that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? And that does your plants, right, receive more nutrients. Because if you don't, those seeds, those weeds, right, and thorns, they're gonna receive the nutrients more than your plant. Right? And if that happens, your plant's not going to be as fruitful. It's not going to yield as much fruit. Right? And in this thing, you want to yield as much fruit as possible. Right? It says, and these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it and bring forth fruit. Some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. Then you're going to have the elect. Right? The elect, they're going to be sown on that good ground, right? They're going to hear this word. They done received it. They're applying it to their lives. They're not just the one that just hear this law, says, okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I like how that brother brought it out. But they're not applying it to their lives. They're not changing anything about themselves. They're not really repenting. But they hear it's good, right? And thus they're bringing forth good fruit, right? They start off as a seed, and they stay planted. They've been enduring. They've been enduring some summers. They've been enduring some winters, right? And we know some winters, the summers they be hot, right? That's that affliction, right? The winters they be cold. That's that affliction. But they keep persevering. They keep going through, right? And then they keep growing. They keep growing. They keep increasing. Right? And then boom, they bring forth 30-fold, 60-fold, some even 100-fold, right? But they bringing forth that good fruit. Right? And that's also in retrospect to the talents, right? Because you got some men that got 10 talents, they got 5 talents, right? But increasing them talents, right? You got some that they got their talents, man, they ain't doing nothing with it. Put it in a hole. They not multiplying this thing. They're not increasing in this thing. They're just sitting there, man. Their talent's going to waste. Just sitting there. Right? So let's go back to the book of Psalms, chapter 1. He said, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Right? The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Right? And we know the ungodly and the wicked, man, they just gonna be destroyed. Right? And we're gonna get a couple precepts on the ungodly. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get a couple on the ungodly, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's a plethora of them, right? It's let me see. Let me get one. Let me get this. So like, and I was thinking about this precept that I was gonna get, but I was like, nah, I don't get that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get some precepts on this right quick. It says, the triumphing of the wicked is short, right? So it just like we were just reading, right, in Psalm, it says, but are like a chaff in the wind that driveth away. So let me go back in the book of Job. Hold on, bear with me. I'm trying to find my point where I was at. Okay, yeah. So boom, it says, it's Job 20:5. It says, the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. So the triumphing for the wicked is nothing but a short time, right? It's only a moment in time, right? Let me see this precept real quick. It says, let me get some more, right? It's a lot of them. It's a plethora of them up in here, man. But it says, God judges, this book of Psalms, chapter 7, verse 11. It says, God judges the righteous, right? And God is angry with the wicked every day, right? So the wicked, their lot is just to be destroyed, right? It says, the book of Psalms, chapter 9, verse 17. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God, right? So the wicked is going to be turned to a lower state, right? The wicked is going to be desolate, right? The wicked is going to be destroyed, right? Let's get some more. Let's get some more. Proverbs got some on too. There's a lot of the songs got a lot of them too. It says, this is the book of Psalms, 34, verse 21. It says, evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate. So it says, evil is going to slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate. So it's like this. It's like this. You can make your choice in this thing. You want to be that man that bring forth righteous fruit, that bring forth good fruit? Or you going to be the man that got the title as the wicked, as the ungodly? And your reward is going to be hell, desolation, slayed by evil, right? It says, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate. Let's get some more. It says, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 37 and verse 20. It says, but the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fatter lambs. They shall consume, into the smoke they shall consume away. Right? So it says the wicked shall perish. Simple. The wicked gonna be destroyed. Ain't no other way around it. The wicked is going to be destroyed. It says the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. If you ever grill anything, right, especially animals that have like lambs, sometimes lamb have fat on it, right? If you ever just burnt it, the fat, one of the first things that disappear, anything we cooking on the grill, one of the first things that really disappear on the meat is the fat. So imagine putting it in the fire. It's going to be a completely obliterated, gone. And that's what's going to happen to the wicked. They're going to be gone. They're going to be dissolved. They're going to be burnt up. Straight like that. It's comparing them to when you put a lamb on the for offering for a sacrifice and it gets burnt. That's the lot of the wicked. That fire, that destruction, and that lake of fire. Right? When Babylon received the nuclear fire and brimstone, that's where the wicked shall be. Right? Burning with Babylon. Right? It says Psalms 37:28. Like I said, it's a plethora of precepts on the lot of the wicked. It just don't pay to be wicked. I mean, you might have fun for a moment. I mean, you might really have enjoyed that weed, them pills, that fornication, that adultery, the backbiting, the murmuring, the whatever, the lust of it, whatever you wickedness want to come to your mind. You can enjoy that for a moment. You can enjoy it for a season. Hell, you can enjoy it for the rest of your life here. Right? But the Lord is going to get it with you. And you're going to be destroyed. If you don't repent and change from that, you're going to be destroyed. It ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. When you just look it up, you can look it up yourself. You can look it up yourself. Just look up wicked. Type in wicked. And then you see all the different kind of precepts and scriptures pertaining to what's going to happen to the wicked. Right? But it says, for the Lord level judgment and forsake not his saints. It's Psalm 37:28. They are preserved forever. So the saints are going to be preserved, right? But the seed of the wicked shall be cut off, right? Straight like that, right? So let's go back to the book of Psalms. And we're going to go to Psalm chapter 1, and we're going to go to verse 5. We're going to go to verse 5, at 5. It says, therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous, right? For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. So the way of the godly is, you're done. You're finished. You're finito, man. You're finito, right? Let me get a precept, man. Let me get this precept in a second. Second Esdras chapter 9. Second Esdras chapter 9 and verse 10. It says, let me start verse 9. Second Esdras 9 and 9. It says, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now abuse my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. So it says, for anyone that abuses the ways of the Most High, right? Abuses the law, statutes, commandments, abuses the grace, because that's what a lot of people doing. A lot of Negroes is abusing this grace that we have. This grace period that we in, a lot of Negroes abusing it. They're like, man, I got grace, so I can still freak off. I can still do this, or I can still do that, because I got grace. Right? They're abusing the ways of the Lord, right? It says, and they that cast them away despitefully, it says they should do an atonement, right? They shall be a pitiful case, right? It says, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, right? And they that have loathed my law, while they had yet liberty, and when it was yet place of repentance open unto them, understood it not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. Simple. Simple than you know. You abuse these ways. You want to live ungodly. You want to be a wicked man or be a wicked woman. You're going to be tormented, and you will know it, right, after death. Meaning, after this life, when people get raised back up again, people that done died, the wicked Negroes and niggas that done died, Lord gonna raise them up just to destroy them again, right? He said the same will know after death by pain. That's the second death, right? So, and I'm gonna get another precept, and then I'm gonna, let me see what my time looking like. All right, let me get another precept, y'all. It says this right here. It says, this is the book of First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 62. It says, fear not the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung in worms. Right? So just like how you have the ungodly, you have the wicked, it's the same thing of a sinful man. They all one and the same. A sinful man, an ungodly man, and a wicked man, their glory is dung in worms. That's it. That's all they got to look forward to. Worms. Imagine worms going through your flesh as you're getting burnt, right? As you're getting burnt. You can't even imagine that. You can't even imagine that, right? When you read the book of when you read the different accounts in the New Testament, right? When Yahweh is saying it's gonna be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Weeping and gnashing of teeth. This is not nothing you should take lightly. But you got people that as we walk on the highways and byways, you know what I'm saying? If you ever do the works, you know what I'm talking about. We ask you, man, you ever know how to get to the kingdom of heaven and blah, little question like that. You got people, they don't give a dang about the kingdom of heaven or how to even get there. They don't care. But you see here, and for those people that actually know, right, what's at stake, shame on you if you just choose to go back in the world. Shame on you if you give this truth up. Shame on you if you're not really rooted deeply in this thing, man. Shame on you if you say you doing all this, keeping the commandments, and you not doing it out of sincerity and truth, right? Shame on you if you don't take it. You're not taking the light, man. How blessed are you to even keep these commandments? Because you got people that walk on the highways and byways, day in and day out, that don't give a dang. But you women and men that have been blessed to keep these commandments, take delight in that. Because not everybody gets the opportunity to even do it. The Lord opened Joe. It ain't you that got understanding. Just because you know something, don't say, yeah, it was me. I got me to this point. Look how wise I am. I got this. No, it's the Most High that opened your eyes. He did that, not you. Right? So being that he did do that, take it as a blessing. Right? And Lord, he can take it away from you. Right? But, with that, I yield, man. I want to give our honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai. Lord willing, that was edified through the Spirit. Shalom. Kwame Shalom.